Okay, it is the Power Shift podcast. I was looking at my questions, so I didn't see the live button come on. So y'all just saw me looking at my telephone. So anyway, today's guest is Malik Pressley. Full disclosure, he is my cousin, my beloved cousin on my mother's side. And I thought it would be good to have him on the show because he is one of the youngest millennials. The millennials go from like 29 to about 40, 42. And he will be the youngest from millennial. He missed Gen Z by 1 year. So he is here and to answer some of my questions about what his perception of politics is, what his what he thinks about voting, and a lot of those things. Somebody of my age, I'm in Gen X, one of the older Gen X people, and I want to know, and I think people should know what younger people think. Why is it important to know what they think? Because I want to reach young men like him. I want them to be able to understand the process. And this all came about when Malik came to my house to do some work because he has a lawn care business. And we just sat there talking on one of his breaks about voting, about politics. And I'm going to ask you, Malik, do you remember the question I asked you where I said, have you ever voted?
Yes, I do.
And what did you tell me?
Well, I just told you how I felt. I felt kind of ashamed having never voted before, and yeah, we just kind of chopped it up about why it's important and things like that.
Yeah. So I don't want you to feel ashamed. I told you this before about not voting. And I don't want anyone to feel ashamed because they didn't
Hmm.
vote. Voting is a habit that you learn at a young age. If no one shows you, tells you, instructs you on why it's important or why you should do it, then it's something that doesn't come naturally, right?
Right, it
It's
just
not.
kind of goes over your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't, his mother, it was, I mean, my aunt, I loved her so much. And so, but she had to work all the time. She had four
Hmm.
kids. She had to work all the time. And that was not the top of her priority list. Her priority list was to make sure Malik and his siblings had food, clothing, shelter, and she did that very well. But she didn't have time to think about that, right? And that's
Right,
no diss on her either, right?
right. I
What
agree.
Yeah, it's just that she had like major things to think about, right? And she
Hmm.
did those. She took care of him and his siblings, and all his siblings have turned out wonderful. They all have jobs, they have education, all this kind of stuff. They live on their own, they take care of their business, you know. So that's not the issue. The issue is just it's a learned habit. So let me ask you the first question I have on my list here, Malik.
Right.
What's the emotion that comes to mind when I mention politics to you?
Um, I would say it kind of makes me. Well, I don't know if this is an emotion. Anxious, I would say maybe.
Hmm.
Just I don't know, maybe nervous, just because I feel like I don't know as much as I should. So yeah, sometimes I feel nervous talking about politics.
Okay, that's a interesting take. I never even considered that
Mhm.
people feel nervous or anxious about it. So that's a good s- point to say that if you don't know something, um, the best thing to do is to ask somebody or to look something up, right?
Look
Now, I'm
into
not the one to be like, go do your research on Google, but there are lots of websites that give good overviews of some of this stuff. And I wish that you had learned it in school, right? That's where you
I
should be
know.
learning it,
Yeah.
right? You should be learning it. And it's not a partisan thing, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever, Green Party. It's more like, how does a law become a bill? Why do we have this system? And that's good to know that it makes people nervous because it's such a huge topic. Can you expand on why you think you feel nervous or?
Um, Well, it really depends on who I'm talking to. Um,
Mm,
when I'm talking to you about it, I'm a lot more open, and the way you break things down, it makes me want to learn more versus somebody who will, shun you for something that you might say. So that I guess I've in a way trained myself not to go there with people like about politics. I guess being
mm.
afraid of what they'll say, or
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so let me move on to, do you feel like the decisions they make in Washington, D.C. affect your daily life? Do you feel like, can you see a connection to what they do in DC to what goes on, you
mm,
know, with your business, with working at, you still work at GE?
yes, I still work
Yeah.
as
So this man got two jobs.
a
He got two jobs. So working at GE or your daily life, your bills, you're paying your rent. What do you feel like there's a connection there?
Since the last time that we spoke, I feel like I've been trying to pay more attention and trying to connect the two. I remember last time we were talking about the gas prices and how most people my age, that's the first thing that they notice. Like that's the first sign of trouble. Um, I mean, things are definitely more expensive, but outside of that, I still haven't found the connection. I'm
Okay.
still looking
No.
to find that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's a good point. Like when people are talking about gas prices, that has something to do with the war in Iran, right?
Right.
That's why the gas prices are high. Um, when you think about affordability, talking about how everything's higher, that has something to do with how the economy is run, right? By the people in charge, right? So that's good. You ahead of most people by just making those two connections, right? Something that the president and CEO of the Urban League always says is everything's a vote. So everything that you do, from rent prices to affordable housing availability
Well,
to
exactly.
the gas prices, to everything that we, the bars being closed at a certain time, how your
Hmm.
business is ran, all of that came down to some policy decision that somebody did, and somebody voted for that person to make those policy decisions.
Right.
So if you think about it, anything you do is about a vote.
Hmm. I
Um,
like that saying.
yeah, it's all everything, like
Everything is a vote. Yeah, I like that.
everything, everything. So you um didn't vote. You haven't voted before.
No, I
Uh,
haven't.
okay. So first things first is I will be finding you during early voting, and we're
Hmm.
gonna go together. I'm
Okay.
making that promise to you right now,
Okay.
because
Right.
what my mother and father did for me was they took me to the voting booth, even when I couldn't vote, like as
Hmm.
young as 5, 6 years old. They would take us with them. So I'm gonna go with you. And
Okay.
I encourage everybody who's listening to take somebody with you, like literally make it a thing, right? Me and Malik may go early vote so he doesn't miss out on any money. We may go the day up, but sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's not. But we
Mm.
may go early vote, and that'll be easiest for him because he can put it in his schedule, right? There's going to be
Right.
3 to 4 days of early voting, and we can go any day, and I'll go to his precincts with him, and wherever he's supposed to vote, and we'll talk about it, right? We'll
Okay.
go,
Yeah.
because I think that's important for a first time voter. Maybe it'll take the pressure off of them.
I think
So
so too.
yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah. So what do you? I mean, we actually talked about also, like, what do your friends think? Because
Hmm.
I offered to take y'all to dinner. That still stands. Taking 3 or 4 of your friends to dinner and you to dinner to talk about this stuff. What do your friends talk about with this?
So I tried to find some friends my age. Most of my friends are, if they're not exactly my age, they're, excuse me, they're 35 or older. So I've asked them to, just because those are who I those are my friends. They mainly say the same thing. Everybody complains about the president first, and that's pretty much where they are with it. They don't like who's in office, and I tried to understand why, and I think everybody that I've asked their opinions are really shallow. Maybe because a lot of them haven't voted. Some of my friends aren't legally able to vote, um, and that surprised me too. I had a friend. He asked me back. He was like, "Oh yeah, so you going to vote, right?" And I'm like, "Well, I've never done it before, so I really don't know." And he just said, "I really wish I could vote," and that kind of stuck with me after.
Wow.
Excuse me, after he said that, I was like, "Here I am, never voted, never thought about it really, and here's this guy. He legally cannot vote, and he wants to." So
Yeah. That's a good that's good because yeah, you don't sometimes you don't miss something till you it's taken away, right? You
right,
don't
right,
yeah. And so now he's in the position where he can't even make the decision if he wants to or doesn't want to.
hmm
Right? That's sad. I mean, you
yeah, it is.
tell him to come to the Urban League. You know, I run the expungement program. Maybe his situation can be rectified through an expungement. So send him to the Urban
Okay,
League.
okay, great.
You can come down here or go on the website. So let me before we get out of here,
Mhm.
everybody, we want you to pledge to vote. You see the QR code up in the corner up here. Please pledge to vote because we want people to come out and support the Urban League's mission to get 52,000 voters to the polls, right? I'm going to get Malik there. You go out there and get one of your friends or a few of your
Yeah.
friends to go out there. Follow us on social media. Also, down there in the box, the description box, I guess we'll call it. If you want more information, go to lul.org/vote or /vote. I'm sorry. And look on there and see some things. One of the things that I want to ask you, Malik, before we go, is it
Mhm.
difficult? Have you ever thought about the candidates and who's running? What do you think about that?
Um, can I be honest?
Yes, yes, totally. That's what I want.
I really don't know
Okay,
who is running. Yeah, I don't know who is running.
okay, okay. Have you paid attention in the past who's running? Like,
Um,
do you know about Mitch McConnell? You know about
yes, I've heard names like that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But you haven't really just been paying attention to them.
no, I haven't.
Okay. No, that's I'm not here to shame you,
Oh,
Malik.
I know. It's just me. I feel, when I think about it, it just makes me want to.
Okay, that's
It
good.
makes
That's
me want
that's
to.
why I'm here. That's why I'm here to having this podcast. I want to encourage people. I don't want anyone to feel shame, right?
Hmm.
You
Right.
don't know how to do something, you somebody can reach out to you and help you do it. And then you
Hmm.
can reach out. And then that's the number one thing though. Now, when I help you, you got to help somebody
Help
else,
someone
right?
else. Right.
You got to help somebody else. And so understand it. And then if you don't feel like you like, hey, my cousin knows all about this stuff, or
Hmm.
the Urban League has this website, you can look at that. Because it's not a shameful thing. It's just a thing we gotta practice. We gotta practice on how to learn to do these things. So again, I appreciate you coming, Malik. I appreciate you being honest. I want everybody who's
I
listening to
appreciate you having me.
I love it because he was shy, y'all. He's very shy, but he is such a hard worker and a great kid. I say kid. I keep saying kid because I got a picture
Okay.
of him on my hip. So I think of him as a child, but he's not a child. He's a grown man. And I appreciate him having the courage to come on here, give honest answers, and try to encourage other people to go out there and do something for his community, something for his people, something for himself. So you all pledge to vote in the corner with the QR code. If you want more information, go to lul.org /vote. Also, if your organization wants to join us and do in our Souls to the Polls campaign, because we're opening that to everyone, not just churches, just organizations. Click the link, thepowershift26.org, and you can learn more about it and get involved. And I really appreciate you, Malik. We are going to set a date and we are going to get you at that polling place. Maybe we'll make it a whole family affair. Maybe all the Presleys. And
That'd
then we go back somewhere and eat some lunch, eat some dinner, have a barbecue. I mean, that's something I might want to do. I think
that sounds great.
Because we don't get together enough as a family. Right. So that's something that I will commit to trying to organize. Because I think if we do it as a family, we can all feel good about what we did, and then we can go and celebrate with each other. So
I agree.
I think that's great. So that's it for the Power Shift podcast this Thursday. I'll see y'all next week when our guest will be Keturah Herron. Senator Keturah Herron will be on our next week's podcast. So thank you for joining us.
All righty.